We begin with a growing political outrage in Tennessee over the expulsion of two black lawmakers. The state's Republican-led House of Representatives voting to remove Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, but sparing the Democrats' white colleague Gloria Johnson by a single vote. Now, all three taking part in a gun reform demonstration on the chamber floor last week in response to last month's deadly school shooting in Nashville. Republicans claim the Democrats broke House rules, but they say they were just exercising their right to free speech and expressing the will of their constituents. Joining me now to discuss, ABC News Deputy Political Director Avery Harper. Avery, good to see you as always. So how are...
Is that Michelle right there? It looked like Michelle.
It does
Jones
a bit.
A little more feminine.
And Pearson responding to this? And what about Johnson?
Right. Well, each one of those lawmakers who have been impacted have lambasted this decision, right? They say that they're going to continue to fight with the protesters that have been at the Capitol, that have been calling for gun reform, whether they're members of this legislative body or not.
And Republican leaders are denying that race played a role here. Critics are saying otherwise. But what is the political fallout, do you think, from all of this?
Right. Well, the optics of the two black lawmakers being ousted and the one white lawmaker being able to keep her seat is not lost on those who are following this very closely. Each of them pointed out the fact that that is what happened. And this is not the first time that we've seen, particularly Justin Pearson, be accused of issues pertaining to decorum. When he was sworn in January, he wore a dashiki, and he got criticism from Republicans then, even though there's no rule banning dashikis from being worn on the House floor. And so both of these young men are folks who are...
What the hell's a dashiki?
It's some sort of African blouse type of garment, I believe.
I didn't even see what he was wearing. They said he was wearing it, and they showed something.
Not in that picture, no. But
okay.
I think they just meant general wearing of a daishiki, I believe.
Okay.
As it relates to issues.
Look at that tiny little finger. He looks like he got a tiny finger.
Yeah, what's up with that, sir?
I don't know about the AI. That's a weird looking finger right there.
It's like
real quick, reminiscent of Malcolm X, though. Just the hair with the visage there, IMO. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So issues of respectability. And so I think we're going to continue to see folks speak out on their behalf as this has become a real flashpoint in the Tennessee House.
And you wonder if there's something here that's generational as well.
Right. They're standing with young protesters. These men are in their 20s, right? And I think, again, this really highlights a generational dynamic. When you look at the lawmakers who were leaving the House yesterday, who had voted to expel those two young men, they were older, they were white, they were conservatives in the House. And that is something that we're seeing in with issues and pertaining to concepts around the country. There is this growing divide generationally when we talk about issues.
What about the wider political landscape there in Tennessee? How does this...
Why do these leftists just look so pathetic? Look at that going. Why do they all look like that?
Vegans, probably.
To the states. And they have threatened to try to do what they can to see some of those lawmakers be voted out if they cannot address issues like gun reform. It remains to be seen what the collective impact of this will all be, but it definitely has now gotten the spotlight of the country, right? Everyone is looking at the Tennessee House to see what's going on there.
Avery Harper, thanks as always for your insights.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
What's happening?
Wanted to play a little video, give everyone time to get in here. What are we up to? A whole whopping 18 people. Wow.
Welcome, beautiful people.
It is Wednesday, April 26th. Tomorrow's my daughter's birthday. My daughter will be 21 tomorrow. So I'll have to give her the shout outs tomorrow.
Make sure she designates a driver, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been watching a lot of these DUI videos.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk just a little bit about these guys. I've seen these guys all over the news. It's those two black guys from Tennessee. So they got expelled doing a gun protest. What are they, like House of Representative or what? I don't even know.
I failed to do appropriate research. I don't know. It's a bicameral setup, I'm assuming, in Tennessee. So one or the other, right?
And yeah, Tennessee House. So they did some weird protests and they didn't follow the rules and do it the right way. So they got voted out. by the chamber or whatever that's there. And then they went back to their place and just got sent right back. So they were like, "Oh yeah, you guys are circumventing democracy," which that's not true, because all the people went through the appropriate steps to oust them, and that scenario is put in place for situations like that. So they did that, and then also when they were sent back, however that's set up, I don't know how that works, but everything was done by the books. So there's procedures in place, checks and balances and stuff. So everything was done. But then they keep using this narrative like, "Oh, you're subverting democracy" and stuff like that. So I in the last few weeks, ever since this happened, I have seen the news media really fawning over these two guys. It's the one guy's more like Asian looking, and he's got the long straight hair. Where is he? And then you got the darker Afro guy.
Well, yeah.
And so I think these guys will be two big players coming up, as they want to. Obviously, one of the goals of all the media and everything is to create like racial unrest. These guys feed right into that.
Sure. And you got the reasonable looking black, and then the radical appearing black, reminiscent of
which one's the reasonable one?
I'm assuming I'm assuming so, but both quite dark skinned. Interesting. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah. And I think when you look at Kamala Harris's past too, she has her parents, even in the official fiction, are tied to the Black Panther Party. So maybe these guys will have bigger roles coming up, especially if Kamala Harris gets more and more involved, or she runs on her own later or something like that. These guys will be more and more household names, I feel like. What do you think about these guys, Ben? Do you think it's Black Panthers or what? That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, possibly as far as that being a government op, right? If we look at, because I've talked about before, if you look at a lot of the Black Panther stuff, and then just go to the Wikipedia page for like George Jackson, or all these things that supposedly happened in the 60s.
When you're
and
busy
70s,
dealing with groceries.
as we go to one of our sponsors, the official fiction, as I like to refer to it. So I would assume that this is an updated version of these narratives. That would be my assumption. And people, there's a lot of pre-programming, and there's the older folks certainly would have been blasted with a lot of these themes, like somebody like my father, in his youth, the Black Panthers would have been big in the, in the news cycle. Malcolm X, the whole thing. He wasn't a Black Panther, but the whole Black liberation, which, by the way, Black liberation is code for communism. Just so we're clear, that's literally what that means. So-called Black liberation, which you don't hear about much anymore, but that was a big theme, like a code phrase back in the 60s and 70s.
I found this this Twitter. It's like a leftist Twitter. I thought it was pretty funny, but I know on here she had a video of that Afro guy. Oh my God, what is this thing? What is this thing? From the Wakandan warrior, it says.
Oh, that's that thing that was on Orange is the New Black.
That thing on the right?
Yeah.
Is that that's a man, right?
Absolutely. It was a
Do
star.
they admit though that it's a man?
100%. It was well known.
Okay.
It was a star of a TV show.
Okay.
Orange is the New Black. It was a good show. I mean, I enjoyed the first couple of seasons, and I don't really watch that many shows.
I can't find the video I was looking for now. There was a video, and maybe she took it down. I saw it yesterday. It was about.
Got to download this stuff, man. I'm telling you.
It was about that black guy with the afro, but basically he was saying like, "Is this it? No, that's not it." But he was basically, calling the founding fathers like, "Oh, they were all slave owners, and they don't represent us, our people today." And to me, it seems like it's almost headed towards segregation again. I feel like they want segregation, or they want segregation.
Well, I do want to point out one of my favorite channels, Dane Calloway. I don't even think slavery happened. I believe it was literal indentured servitude. People that had more or less had contracts to work the land. I don't even think there was slavery.
Yeah, this one's gone. It definitely was on this thing that I saw yesterday. Oh no, here it is. Maybe this is not it, but this is the
That's
same dude
another
here.
statement.
I would just urge this body, if you really believe in this, don't play games with the people. Take a
Representative
vote.
Jones, that's another statement. We're asking questions. We're not going down that road. Well, you better make sure it's a question. Representative Jones.
It's a question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Clerk, can you read for the Speaker residency requirements in order to represent a district?
Very good, Representative Jones. That's a nice one. Congratulations to you. Representative Shaw, you're recognized.
I would just urge this body, if you really...
So it sounds like these guys are just like shit stirrers. Yeah, here's the other one. This is the other one.
Illegal. Those are 2,000 people in the state of Nebraska that could be working and filling some of those positions that we have vacancies.
33 seconds.
They're not here.
Yeah, that's not the same one for sure. I thought it was. Yeah, I don't see the other one. Look at this guy.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I just see them as the new left-wing darlings, and I expect big things from those guys in the future.
yeah, I would imagine maybe being elected to other offices potentially.
Yeah, at the very least, because if they're in the House, they can run for Congress and stuff like that. But I totally see it as like programming to get people on both sides to want like segregation, especially with like the Wakanda programming and everything like that. Like, oh, if colonization didn't happen, we would be like living like Star Trek or something like that. And then people actually believe that, so they're gonna want to give them their own. At least give them like something. Give them one space somewhere, and let them try.
I don't even know at this point. I mean, you know, I'm known for having takes on just about everything, but it's just gotten so ridiculous, man. And I see them being expelled. It's now a way they get way more attention. You know, if they had not been expelled, we wouldn't be talking about them. You know, there would not be all of this national news coverage. And then now I think they're probably a little more free to engage in the, you know, racially charged talk, right? Versus having to mind their P's and Q's when they were actually in the legislature. That's the way I would view it. PSYOP, I'm sure, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? But it could be like even the other legislators that are in there, the whites, quote, they might not even be in on it. You know what I mean? Those guys just know enough to know if they do this, these other people are going to kick them out, basically. And that it sounds like they really can't. They can for temporarily, but I don't really understand the point of what's the point of being able to like expel these people if they could just come right back in?
How can they come back in and get reelected?
The story was something they just go back to wherever their constituent base is, and then they just get like re-sworn in or something like that.
Oh,
and they just go
okay.
right back. There was like not an election or anything else again. They just go get like re-upped and then go back. So what's the point of even having a legislation to get rid of people like that?
Well, presumably if whatever they had actually done to get expelled was so egregious, then they would lose the support in their local districts. I'm assuming that's how that
I guess
works.
that's right. And then
yeah, I'm not that well versed on the state stuff, so I'm going to have to go brush up.
Yeah, Shogun Jiku, you can come on sometime for sure, bro.
Yeah, right on, man.
What do we got? We got 40 people in the house. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody.
Trying this new morning show format. We'll do an hour or two here, and then if Ben wants to keep going, I can. What was it yesterday? Dump them into Doomsville or something.
Get dumped into Doomsville or Doomerville or something like that. I will say today I am trying to conserve my energies. So if I go live after this, it probably will be an abbreviated broadcast. I'm going to go to Tulsa and play some poker tonight if I can get a seat in the game. We'll see how that goes. It's like a 3.5 hour drive, and then the game doesn't start till 6, which is when I typically go to sleep, hilariously. So, yeah.
I'm going to do one more link on these guys, just so everyone's familiar with them. How do I do this here? Here we go. This is that link you posted in there.
Indeed, sir. What browser do you run, by the way? What is this? Is this Firefox?
No, this is Chrome.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it doesn't work for it'll work for me, and I run Brave normally, and it runs in Brave, but then eventually it just like seizes up, and I can't do it anymore.
How this is a moral issue, an issue of conscience, an issue in the South where we are trying to build a multiracial democracy and challenge these extreme forces that, rather than passing an assault weapons ban, they assaulted our democracy, as we saw when we were expelled from the state legislature. And so we talked to the president, vice president about why it's so critical for us to continue to lift up these movements in the South, to continue to lift.
What's that ring he's got on there?
I don't know what that is. He's probably some kind of free, Masonic
Yeah, that's what I was
lodge,
thinking too.
Yeah. But and real quick, I heard a lot of talking points, in that word salad or whatever he was saying. And I'm telling you, this guy is like a darker skinned Malcolm X visually. I mean, what is this? Although I don't know that Malcolm wore a lot of jewelry, but this is bizarre to me.
Who's the
Very
white
bizarre.
lady behind him? Is that their handler or something?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'd love for somebody to accidentally say their trigger phrase or whatever. Like, who was that? The guy from Good Morning America or whatever, when somebody said Holy Spirit and he like glitched out. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So I'd love to see something like that happen with these bozos.
Multiracial movement of reconstruction that we're experiencing right now in Tennessee. And as I was sitting in the Oval Office, I saw the bust of Dr. King. I saw the
got
bust of
something
Rosa
else.
Parks.
Sorry.
I saw the bust of Caesar.
The dark suit and the white suit. So the black and the white squares, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at how small the Afro dude is compared to that woman and his little hands again. He's a tiny little dude.
Yeah, he is definitely. That could be a again, Yurt kind of took me to task for the calling out everybody as a reverso, but who knows, man?
Could be.
Chavez, and what they did, all those people did is they acted outside of the political paradigm of what was possible, and they changed political realities, and that's what we talked about.
This guy sounds like these panelists out here. He's just like in a suit. Just the shit he says.
I made a direct ask to the president that sometimes we have to do something outside of the ordinary. As John Lewis did when he sat on the floor of Congress, as we did when we went to the well of the Tennessee State House and demanded action on guns. And so we are going to continue to push and lift up the creative tension needed to get action on this item. Because for so long, this gun violence debate has been stuck in between this stalemate of left versus right. But we talked today about how it's a moral issue of right or wrong.
All right, I got something else. His style of speaking and gesturing is very reminiscent of AOC. I suspect he's been to the same media training or, maybe even through the same MK Ultra program or whatever. That's very similar to her style of speaking, but just with less pauses, I would say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, sus. It's all very
just
sus.
Like the where's the rest of the, wasn't there like a news story or something? Here it is. AOC was just plucked out of a restaurant, right?
Yeah, she was a bartender, I believe.
And they just, I think they just have a archetype that they want, a certain look. Like we talked about yesterday, how she has the look for the TikTok generation. It's all about the image and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing here with these people here. So these guys are named Justin Jones. I think is that the darker guy? I don't remember.
Well, I'm assuming that the guy sporting the natural hairstyle, that is the official name of it, I'm assuming he's the one from Memphis, hopefully. And I'm assuming that the Asian looking one's the one from Nashville.
Oh, they call them the Tennessee Three. So I think the white woman with them.
Yeah, she survived, right?
Yeah, she's the one that didn't get expelled or whatever. And then they tried to spin that as racist too. So they call these people the Tennessee Three. Ridiculous. The Tennessee Three. Too much for me, man. They definitely want to sow that racial division. I did have a funny link. Hold on, let me pull this link up real quick. Hold it down for 1 second. I gotta find this link.
All right. And my hometown is regionally very similar to Memphis, Tennessee. So, in some ways, I'm culturally kind of from where one of these guys supposedly is from. Now, did he grow up there? I have no idea. I'd be interested to know if this guy's actually from Memphis. I'm a little suspect of that, but the Delta region. And I would say, I don't know what it's like now, but when I was growing up in the region, we did not experience a lot of racial tension. It wasn't a thing. And, shout out to Joe Cool, by the way. And he was on my panel recently, and he was referred to white people as white motherfuckers. And apparently Joe's buried his dad in my hometown of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And I said, man, black people don't talk like that where I'm from. You're not going to hear somebody saying that publicly. And my hometown's 75% black. Not that means anything other than I'm used to being able to speak freely on these matters without worrying about, getting in trouble. Right. If that makes sense. But yeah, no, I was called white boy some of the time. It was never these white motherfuckers. Like, what is that, man? Like just that sound.
White boy. Right? Fucking white boy. I just found this link is funny to me. I check this out maybe once every 3 months. It's called Being Liberal. It's like a Facebook page. So this is their memes that the left spreads, and they're just so absurd. But it really gives you a good insight into their mind, and how you like to talk about, to the liberal and everything is the problem of the system, and that if somehow you could just overturn the system, everything would be great.
Yeah, George Floyd was 100% pure of heart and motive. It was the system that made him into a criminal.
Yeah,
left to his own devices, he would have been literally like Black Panther, like the protagonist of the movie. He'd been morally pure.
That's where you get all that. He was a good boy and everything like that.
Yeah.
But here it's just, look at this. A well-regulated militia doesn't kill school children. Wasn't that a transgender? Wasn't that the last one that did that?
Well, but again, true information no longer matters, as we know, Drew. It's just
Yuri Bezmenov.
Well, yeah, when the country's divided and more or less everyone's put into one of two boxes, either left or right. The people in the leftist echo chamber, to them, this all makes sense. It's just,
that's what's,
of course.
It's like funny to me, like ironically, but they think it's like great. They share these and are like, yeah, look at this. America, land of gun care and health control. It's just so cringe.
Well, I mean, it is kind of crazy that America has all of this socialism, but doesn't have nationalized health care. To me, that's nuts, but whatever. But that's my lefty, little bit of left leaning coming out, right? Like, how do we not have it? But we got all this other crazy shit. We'll bail out the banks, but won't nationalize the health care. It doesn't make sense. But that's my opinion, sir.
This lady here, she says, we banned lawn darts after 3 kids died in accidents. We banned a dresser from IKEA because it was flawed and killed 8 children. Meanwhile, 22 kids are shot every day with guns. 5 will die every single day. Republicans refuse any measure to curb the violence. They don't care. So these people are under the impression that just everywhere you go, that there's like some kind of a shooter, especially now in schools. They think it's just always happening everywhere. You see that a lot in those. If you ever watch those First Amendment auditor videos, I see that a lot, where the people are in there with the camera, and then someone will confront them, and then they'll be like, I don't know, you never know what's going on in this day and age. And what they mean by that is you could be a shooter. That's literally what they mean.
Well, and meanwhile, there was tons of school shootings back in the day. And then lest we forget, in my lifetime, the peak of violent crime in this country was the early 90s, right around 90, 91. It's way less violent crime now than then.
I don't get this. The Let's Go Brandon flags at half staff. I don't get it. It's like it's so dumb that I just don't get it, I think.
Yeah, in some ways, my brain no longer processes some of this stuff.
I'm unable to process.
It just doesn't.
The chat, if you get this, obviously, Let's Go Brandon is like the anti-Joe Biden thing, but I don't get why it's at half mast. Are they saying like he's almost dead or something? I don't.
Maybe just the Trump indictment stuff. I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't get it. Yeah, shout out to Ginger Ridge in the chat. The 90s were indeed lit. And good to see everybody, all the regular names.
This is the one that cracked me up when I looked at this yesterday. It's no longer between blue states and red states. It's between living in a Star Trek future or a Handmaid's Tale. So if you vote Democrat and follow liberal policies, you're going to be living in Star Trek. But if you're a conservative, you're going to be living in Handmaid's Tale. What is wrong with these people?
Well, they're Look, I think the events of the last several years prove that the system has psychological control of the masses. So to me, this is just it's playing to people whose psychology is already under control. And by the way, there's a right-wing version of this also, so-called. How are we, we're the ones, the people who tune into broadcasts such as this, we're the ones who are actually thinking independently, at least some of the time, right? Clown world, man.
It's interesting to me that they compare them to Hollywood movies or TV shows. I guess I never really realized that looking at that picture on the left of Star Trek, I never realized what a like the full spectrum representation that was going on there. You had the black, the Asian, the woman, everything like that.
Oh yeah, definitely multicultural there.
Let's see what other couple more here.
Well, and by the way, if you actually go back and look at the ratings of that show compared to other shows, didn't do that great for the time. Believe it or not, I think maybe only 2 seasons for Star Trek, 2 to 3.
Now the left, now this is what they do. They've appropriated this Biden "I did that." So remember those stickers around those pumps everywhere.
Yes.
And now they're taking any kind of like thing that they can spin as positive, and they're putting this "I did that" sticker thing on that. And that's what they did with even the word woke. Originally, the word woke meant, kind of what we're doing or whatever. And they immediately flipped that into, trans kids as woke.
Yeah. And I got to take on just the general, as far as from a pattern recognition standpoint, especially if we're talking about, the possibility of AI, behind the scenes running a lot of this stuff. So, that movie, A Beautiful Mind, was about John Nash, the mathematician, and he proved, game theory, right? So game theory's made its way into poker now, and I'm getting back into poker recently. So they have these computer programs. I can actually analyze any particular position, like anything that happens in a poker game. I can actually use a software program to see what would be the optimal thing to do, right? And I almost see this as, is this an AI running off of this game theory, but it's doing it ahead of time, right? So the way my brain works on pattern recognition, I'm starting to see that, well, clearly when this was put out, and we talked about that, I did that, it just appeared overnight and it was just everywhere. So to me, if the AI did that, the AI already planned to do this in the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like a strategy. It's like the
AI
is
further
playing
demoralize the right or something.
Well, but for many things, because if you think about it, it's going to all, like the poker analogy is, what the optimal strategy is going to be based on what is all the other opponents doing. So the game theory actually adjusts in real time based on what all the various factions are doing. So yeah, it actually would encompass, everything, if that makes sense, especially if it's supercomputers doing this. But I understand some people don't even think the AI is a thing, and I'm not convinced either way personally. But it's an interesting thought experiment.
I believe AI is a thing. It's just it's not intelligent, like they tell you. It's not thinking. It doesn't understand what it's putting out. It's just
sentient. It's not.
Yeah,
if it was sentient,
it's able to like spit something out that you perceive it, or it probably is like super highly accurate, but it's just to the computer. It's just data that it's spitting out.
Yeah, if it was sentient, it would be able to figure out the captchas and all that. So that's why it's having to do these workarounds.
This is a silly meme here that says, if you just did whatever you want, how you're infringing on others. If you took a slice of pie like that, you had your slice, but look at, you affected 3 other people's pies. It's just so silly. You can't even. Yeah, look at this. I lost my brothers in Omaha Beach in 44 U, and this kid says, at school, second period. That's what they really think. They really think like it's just a war. But here's the thing. They don't really think that. They don't.
Well, they don't care about kids. They fucking love death, bro.
Their kids are going into a war zone or you wouldn't be sending your kid into the motherfucking school if you really thought it's a war zone in there every day.
Facts.
Where we at here, man? We're at 30 minutes in, 62 people in the house. Good morning.
Damn, that's impressive. What a blessing, by the way.
I think it'll grow over time once people get kind of used to it. I don't know. Let me hit some other links. I guess we got a bunch of links up. It's the easiest thing for me to do would be this for now. And then we got all the links in the private chat. I'm just gonna go over to that the Yahoo News, man. They got all the main stories of the day. We can get both back into the.
Well, I'd like to hit that Montana reverso that's talking about maybe getting censured or removed.
Which one is that?
I dropped it in the private chat, but
Oh, okay, I see it.
I
I
can
see
hit
it.
you
Here,
again. Yeah.
I'll click it. Oh man, look at this thing. It looks like the Hamburglar. Montana transgender lawmaker says GOP may expel or censure it on Wednesday.
Which is today, by the way.
Damn, look at that thing.
Zooey Zephyr is I'm assuming, not the name of birth.
What is what is going on with the world, man?
Again, hopefully this helps understand why Benton almost drank himself to death. If anybody's
Zooey
curious.
Zephyr?
Zoe or however you want to, Zoe, I guess. Who knows?
Republican leaders will vote Wednesday on censoring or expelling it.
Yes.
A transgender state representative who has been silenced in the House since last week after telling colleagues that if they voted for a bill to ban gender-affirming medical care for transgender children, they would have blood on their hands. Oh, so if they don't want kids to get...
Well, yeah, sorry to interrupt. But by the way, another psyop, because assuming that thing was elected, then who cares that it said blood on their hands? Like, how is that a reason to censure or expel somebody? Assuming we're accepting it as a lawmaker, like, to me, who cares? That's not a big deal. Oh, it said blood on its hands. Now we got to kick it out or censure it. I don't get it. It makes no sense if that's really what happened.
Yeah. It says Tuesday, Zephyr tweeted a letter she received from the House informing her of the plan to consider disciplinary action. I've also been told I'll get a chance to speak, Zephyr tweeted. I will do as I've always done, rise on behalf of my constituents, in defense of myself, and for democracy itself. Much like much like the events in the Tennessee State House weeks ago. So yeah, they're really pushing these like inclusive lawmakers and stuff. Much like those events in Tennessee where 2 lawmakers were expelled, blah, blah, blah. Zephyr's punishment has ignited a firestorm of debate about governance and democracy in politically polarizing times. So it is like that, right? It's like the transgender, the blacks, anything like that. They can do nothing wrong. It's the system itself that's punishing them. It has nothing to do with them actually breaking rules, whether they are or not. But I'm saying that these people believe it's just the system that holds these people down.
Well, and then I'm more or less discredited solely based on my physical appearance, as a white male. So it's both things simultaneously.
It says the caucus re-upped its demands and rhetoric Monday. In a statement, they said that Zephyr's decision to hoist a microphone towards the gallery's protesters amounted to encouraging an insurrection.
See, that's a nothing burger, and that's the right wing adopting just mimicking what the left wing is doing. So these bozos, and this is another psyop, because these bozos, it's like, oh, that wasn't an insurrection on January the 6th, but now they're looking for any opportunity to accuse the left of doing that. Which there's no honor or integrity in that, right?
Yeah,
it's clearly not I mean, come on, it's a fucking nothing burger.
It's silly. We talked about those people yesterday, the reversos, and after we did that talk, I found this infographic. So it says nearly 20% of Gen Z is LGBT. That's 1 in 5 people. So if you
Dude, I've got 2 fucking relatives. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, look at this infographic. It's 2014, and it's by the colors here are the generation. So the yellow is the millennials, and the red is the Gen Z.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually knew about this for a while. Yeah,
so wild, 2014, dude. You're at around 5%, 5-6%, and then all of a sudden, you even just staying in just that yellow. The millennials, 2022, it's doubled. It's 11.2%. But then once they included the Gen Z, that one starts at 15%. It's just 2 years ago, and it's already up 5% in 2 years. Insane.
Well, and I don't know what the the plus or minus is, but the Gen X actually went down slightly. I don't know. Maybe some of them passed away.
They prayed the gay away.
Indeed, sir. As one could do. Right. Exactly.
This one quote says, they suspect many teens are just saying I'm bisexual so they can claim group clout and belong to the protected and privileged class. Yeah.
That's probably true.
But when it comes down to it, most of these supposed bisexual teens are not ready to actually be in gay or lesbian relationships. To me, a lot of it's just like, what's the right term? Like lack of ability to like grow up, right? You want to stay in an infantile state for as long as you can.
Extended
They don't wanna have
adolescence.
a woman doesn't want to have to go get a man and hold down a house and do everything that it's supposed to do, so it can just dick around with another woman for a little bit and delay that as long as they can. Same with the men too. And if you look at these men nowadays, these younger men, I can see why these women would prefer to go with another woman.
Well, and to add on to that, if a lot of what we're being told about the decline in sperm quality, if that's really true, I mean, let's face the reality that biologically ladies want babies. And if these males can't give them babies, and certainly there's something in the pheromones, I guarantee you these ladies can smell it on some level. Why would they want anything to do with these guys if you think about it? I mean, what's in it for them at that level?
And let me go back to that. And that Twitter thing that goes
there's my boy.
Goes right into the Yuri Bezmenov. So if you guys never seen it, I'll play just a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with him, but
on the stage of demoralization, obviously there are tendencies in each society, in each country, which are going to opposite direction from the basic moral values and principles. To take advantage of these movements, to capitalize on them, is the main purpose of the originator of subversion.
Why did it say a different name there?
I think that was because he defected.
His American name or something?
Well, he defected, so I'm not exactly sure what the deal is with that, but yeah.
Thomas Schumann. I've never heard that name for him before.
Subversion. So we have religion, we have education, we have social life, we have power structure, we have labor relations.
This guy's so like mainstream and popular now. They're adding like all this music behind him talking.
Unions, and finally we have law and order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these are the areas of application of subversion. What it means exactly? In case of religion, destroy it, ridicule it.
Damn, it's Strobin.
Replace it with various sects, cults, which bring people's attention, faith, whether it is naive, primitive, doesn't really matter. As long as the basically accepted religious dogma is being slowly eroded and taken away from the supreme purpose of religion, to keep people in touch with the supreme being.
Okay, I'm gonna have a seizure watching this version of it.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, real quick, what he's talking about here, this furthers my point where a lot of the traditional family values, mom and apple pie, American exceptionalism, the American dream, we seem to believe that, well, that was in fact, people chose that as like a superior way of life. My contention is no, they were programmed to believe in those things. And this is further proof, because look how quickly they were taken from that programming to this new programming, which to me proves that the earlier wasn't people deciding this is a better way to live and living on principles of integrity, honor, honesty, and all of these things. In fact, they were programmed to mimic those things, but they were never actually present in the individuals, on a mass scale. And I think this is proof of it, that what he's talking about, that the Soviet Union and could do this through a process of subversion, ideological subversion over time, which, by the way, most of this, he was talking about this in like 1985, is how long ago
this is some idea that I didn't really wrap my head around. So you can take over a country economically, militarily, obviously, but then ideologically is another way that you can take over a country. And that's what you've seen happen here. So there was a game that I was one of these days I should show you all like the simulation games that I've played through my life. I'm a huge like simulation junkie. Like I always sim, like NBA 2K. I'll play the association mode and sim it out like 20 years and stuff. That's like my thing. I don't know why, but
Yeah,
I played
right
this
on.
game for my buddy had a Sega CD, and I borrowed it a few times, and I would play the game called was called Third World War, and it was the idea that you can take over. You pick a country and you try to expand your empire either militarily or economically. So I played that like to death, dude. I love that game. But then it just shows that they don't like incorporate the idea to teach people really that the other way to do it is ideologically by subverting the culture of the country itself over a long period of time.
Yeah, 100%.
But one of these days I'll make a video. It's kind of embarrassing. Maybe I'll do it like members only. If you guys saw all the fucking nerd simulation shit, I still do a little bit, but when I was younger and stuff.
Oh, bro, the only reason I don't go back to playing SimCity 4 is I know I'll just play it all day, every day.
I never actually played SimCity of all things. I played tons of other sim games. I'd probably love it. That's
well, I play it with the cheats. I just want to build some cool shit. I ain't really trying to, have strategies or whatever.
I'm gonna play just a little bit more. The music and the flashing is too much for me. I just want to see what he says next.
That serves the purpose. Therefore, replace it, accept it, respect it, religious organizations with fake organizations.
Okay, it's too much, man.
I know. What's up with that?
Crazy effects and shit.
Yeah.
Way too much for me. Silly. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying yesterday too. Let's go back to child labor. And I'm serious. Let's just
but then
learn them the basics and then put them on an assembly line or something. It'd be better for them. Obviously not forced child labor, but
and part of the reason why my second wife, had some challenges, like maybe in learning in some ways, as far as book learning, was she grew up on a chicken farm and she was used as child labor to some extent, because that is legal. Like the family can have her work on the farm. And I'm not saying it was a detriment. It's actually a good thing. It instilled a lot of values in her that I don't know that she would have had otherwise, right? Oh, and as far as the child vomiting out the rainbow flag, if the parent really believes that's going on, how can the parent? That's child abuse to send that kid to school. Then, as the way as I'm concerned, as far as public school, that's my opinion as a non-parent. Anyway, please continue. I'm ranting.
Totally
I'm ranting now, so please go ahead.
Let me see this one.
Is population collapse, the super low birth rate.
Don't we have an overpopulation problem?
No, we have an underpopulation problem.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
This is the most commonly misunderstood situation.
Yeah, they definitely push that we have a overpopulation. Yeah, why is that?
No. What we face
that would be globally,
is population collapse.
Huh.
Collapse. Like people have no idea how fast the population is going to collapse. Japan is pretty far along in that. Like Japan actually lost like 600,000, went down by 600,000 people last year.
So why are we spewed with all this BS that, we're overpopulating, but the population's growing, right?
No, it's not. Like one metric to track is the ratio of adult diapers to baby diapers. Mm-hmm. Like at what point does a country have more adult diapers than baby diapers? And like Japan went past that point over 10 years ago, I believe.
Whoa. Threat to man.
That's interesting.
Well, but I believe globally, the official fiction is that population is still increasing. I'm pretty sure. See how they go back and forth from globally to, just in one country. Just the ability of somebody's mind to follow that, right? Like they're not and I've said it before, people are no longer processing information. Those guys were not processing data in real time. They just weren't. They should have been able to realize, now, wait a minute, are we talking globally or are we talking about Japan? What are we talking about here?
Here's an infographic that shows self-deletion.
Oh, yeah.
If you need help, someone
it's skyrocketed. Well, and
from
by the way,
this is just 10 to 14 females. So just in 2000, it was 0.5.
And this is all
100,000. Now in 2018, it's at 2, which is 4 times the number. Since 2012 here, about 2013, it's doubled on this graph from 1 to 2.
We'll see if I can control myself long enough to point out. And this is pre-event of the last 3 years, by the way.
Right.
So it was this is what I've been trying to tell people. A lot of these death rates were skyrocketing before, the what happened in the last several years.
What is this? Americans self-identifying as lesbian, gay, something
Other than
something
the
other.
default. Other than the default, yeah.
What is this thing, man? This is the Bud Light thing.
Oh, is it?
This is that Bud Light.
Discuss where he places the product. So is he's about to start representing the San Francisco cucumber growers.
Gross.
Well, anyway, this is why I don't look at any of this, by the way. I'm happy to do it for the show, but I'm getting very upset already.
This person's wondering if it was in the jabs that people get, the kids and stuff. My boy's got none of that stuff.
Good for you, brother. Again, kudos for all of that.
None of the
yes, sir.
Circumcision, none of that weird shit, man.
Awesome.
And strong boys, they don't really get sick. My youngest one, he's had a cough for a little bit now, but nothing bad though.
Well, and some of that is the body's normal detox anyway. And then I don't know what your pollen count is in Florida, but it's off the fucking charts where I'm at.
Yeah, it must be high here because I don't really get like that either, and I've had a cough and been a little low.
Well, like it's so bad here, it completely covered my vehicle. Like it gets
it was like that here like a month ago.
Yeah. See, I don't know that Minnesota. I don't know what it's like in Minnesota.
I don't think Minnesota really had it like that.
Yeah, you're in a part of the country now where it's off the fucking charts. Much of for part of the year anyway.
Whoops. What's this one you put in here? It says Trump. Oh, Trump's not going to do the debate.
That's what he says. I mean, obviously, that who knows what he's actually going to do
in the Republican debate.
I find it difficult to believe that he would eschew all that attention. Although, I guess he'll still get attention just for not even going. Right? Maybe that's the move. I don't know.
Who do the Republicans even have that could even run other than him or DeSantis?
I have no idea.
I mean, you'd think it'd be easy. Joe Biden would be easy to beat Joe Biden.
Well, and the articles I've been reading is about how the Democrats want Trump to run because they believe that he'll be easy to beat. That's the Democrats' slant on things, as far as the official narrative. So who knows, man? Of course, it's not real, right? So, and it comes down with the Electoral College. It obviously comes down to states, because like people are like, oh, you're going to waste your vote. I don't vote anymore, but I've never voted for a Republican or Democrat. But look, the Republican's going to carry Arkansas no matter what happens. So really, my vote doesn't count if you think about it. Not for president.
What's this one here you got up here?
Yeah, apparently I haven't read this yet, but yeah, ex-Russian President Medvedev warns we're closer than ever to World War III. More fear propaganda, I'm sure. The risk of nuclear oblivion. That's interesting.
That's badass right there.
Hell yeah.
Kremlin jets just recently brought down an American drone with both sides displaying nuclear bombers and shows of strength. So that's when I covered that Donald Trump thing. That's what Donald Trump's talked about his whole life since they've been interviewing Donald Trump since the 80s. Is he's talked about the threat of nuclear war and how he's one of these only people that could have the negotiation tactics to go in and actually do something about it. Which is interesting to me if you think about it, since it's how long is it? 40 years or since the 80s, I guess, 40 years.
Yep.
And to have that consistent of a theme, and then it's still playing out as the guy's running for president, already ran one and then gonna do it again.
Hey, can you hit that American Patriot comment if you would? The Reverend Benton Truther lives again. Indeed, sir. I ain't dead yet. Still here. Oh, man.
This was a thing I saw yesterday, too, that I think this shows how like the AI writes the articles. If you look at them, these articles are almost exactly the same. Or at least there's a term for it, man. And I looked for this video that I saw it on, and I never found it again. So I'm never going to find this term again, but there's an actual term maybe someone in the chat knows. There's a term that these corporations or whatever use for people that only read. It's just the impressions. It's what's most important is for these stories to get impressions. So as long as it's pushed to your phone, if you scroll through it, even if you don't click that link, as long as you saw that little blurb, that little headline, that's what it's all based on, is impressions. Because then you're still getting programmed through that little impression, that little one thing you just slid by real quick. And I think that's where you see these types of things here. So they can just use AI or whatever to push the same types of stories about Trump and Putin, almost identical stories and stuff. And then in your mind, you subconsciously make the connection between Donald Trump and Putin over the long period of your scrolling, even if you never actually clicked any of the links.
Well, and I think this also goes to show that the political system can't be organic with respect to the social media and all of this, because I think by now it would be broken down. Because back when Nixon ran against JFK, that was the narrative, was that JFK was so much better using the televised media. That was like the first time they debated on TV or whatever. So if this was even real or organic, I think you'd see a much greater delineation of a breakdown between the politicians who are super good at using social media and the ones who are less skilled at it. But we really haven't seen that. It just seems like the beast system, Babylon, whatever you want to call it, pumps out whatever it pumps out, and then the politicians just sort of fit into that however they fit into it. If my point makes any sense anyway.
Yeah. Did you want me to click on any of those other ones?
No, it's up to you, man. I'm happy to have you steer the ship.
Carl's funny.
Oh yeah, shout out to
Carl. That's what social media thrives on, is getting people outraged. That's what the number one thing that keeps people online for longer periods of time.
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen it in my dad, like when he got his apartment and I was hanging out with him before I went back to work, and everything would be copacetic and we'd be chilled out, and then he would go back in his bedroom and be on his iPad, and then he would come flying into the living room with all this emotion because his iPad, sent some propaganda his way. And I'm just like, look at you, man. They got you all fired up here. Like, what's going on? And of course, at first he's like, I'm not fired up. And I'm like, bro, come on, man.
Well, was it like some Fox News stuff or something?
Just whatever. Who even knows? I don't even look at it. He's not so much on the Fox News. He's actually pretty far advanced, but he's still very much locked into that because he's a boomer. He got a healthy dose of the American exceptionalism type of programming. So it's like, I think at the time it was like Americans were getting killed in Ukraine. And I'm just like, being the voice of reason, I'm like, look, man, they wanted to go over there and fight. Those people did. Nobody made them go over there. Who cares? I don't care if they go over there and try to kill people and they get killed. Like, what's it even matter? But, something gets pushed out to his iPad about, Americans getting killed in Ukraine, and now he's all fucking fired up. I'm like, dude, they want to go over there and kill or be killed, so let them have it. And I ain't going over there. Fuck them.
I have no idea what this story is. Woman sneaks into Columbia University surf and turf event, reflects on institution's hypocrisy and treatment of low-income students.
The surf and turf, where the students got shrimp, lobster, and steak, just to become reflective about how horrible these institutions are, and learn that Columbia is trying to get rid of a preschool to gentrify the area even more. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, when I took the train to Columbia University, I went with the full intention of just enjoying myself and getting food that I can't afford. And of course, I brought my Tupperware because now I'll be eating shrimp and lobster for the next 2 weeks. But then I became really reflective about
This bitch brought a damn Tupperware in her purse.
Bro, that lady's schizophrenic. Shout out to Layla. She called it. That's schizophrenia.
Did you see the woman? She looked nuts.
I'm just mean her. I'm just listening to how she's delivering these messages. That is schizophrenia. If you've been around any actual schizophrenics, and I've been around many of them, that's schizophrenia. Yeah, for 100%.
about the hypocrisy of this whole place, and reflective about how
doesn't
horrible my twin sister's experience was here. As a low-income student on financial aid, at the start of COVID, they caused her to have housing instability and wouldn't even...
Okay, enough of that bitch.
No, she's schizophrenic.
Bitch, you're not low income walking in there with a motherfucking Starbucks Frappuccino, whatever.
Well, she's going to Columbia or whatever, right? And she's a Ivy League student.
Yeah, ridiculous. What is this? Man loses his vote over fake Craigslist ad or something? Fake Craigslist ad cost him his right to vote? How is that possible? Who posted a fake Craigslist ad for a free trailer with a legislative's candidate's number on it on the day of election, saying it was a joke, lost his right to vote. Why?
Oh, disenfranchise. Voter disenfranchisement, franchisement or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, that's just a misdemeanor, but it is but it still disenfranchises Druin under the New Hampshire Constitution. Anyone convicted of a willful violation loses their right to vote in the state.
Well, he pleaded guilty though. See, if you go back, that's his problem. Why did he plead guilty? See, that's the thing with the legal system is instead of him and hey, let's shout out to Paul Enslaved. Instead of him standing on rights and principles, free speech, he pleaded guilty to a crime. So I got no sympathy for him. You know, I understand it's probably a psyop also, but why is he pleading guilty?
If they probably try to trump up some charges, and then they say, well, if you just plead guilty, all you do is lose your right to vote.
Yeah, they got him in that fear space. Exactly. Sorry, I'm getting
Here we
fired
go. This
up
is
here.
you posted this one. So what happened? Japan sent something to the moon, supposedly.
Oh yeah, apparently Japan attempted to land something on the moon.
Look at this
Dude,
fucking thing, dude. That's
those are air
that's the
conditioners.
exact same AC unit I have in my backyard.
Yeah, those are air conditioners.
Literally.
Yeah, train. We landed two train fucking industrial air conditioners have landed on the moon. This is
Ridiculous.
bananas.
That just says too an illustration. So Tokyo base iSpace failed its attempt to land its lunar lander on the surface. It was scheduled, blah blah. What happened? The spacecraft began its landing sequence. The engine cut off. Mission lost contact with the lander minutes before its landing time, which was expected. But iSpace controllers could not reestablish contact after the expected landing time. So there's two crashed fucking air conditioners up there on the moon right now.
Well, and then you'll read, all these articles about, too much space debris and all this, but continuous launches of things that may or may not become space debris. Like it doesn't.
Yeah,
even
and then you can't put a straw in the ocean, but these guys can send nuclear powered fucking things up in space all they want.
That might just float around indefinitely.
Yeah, it's gonna float around everywhere, lose control of it.
Yeah, sure, it's not.
None of these people in the comments here, not even questioning it.
Form like Volt. Oh, what was it?
That was Gundam.
Oh, okay, cool.
Damn. I wonder what causes them to say some people can do it and some people can't. I wonder.
What, land on the moon?
Yeah. Like, where was that? Japan, did it say?
Yeah.
Like, does Japan get that story or do only we get that story?
It's a good question. Do you think the Japanese would be somewhat involved in that?
Look at this fucking thing.
Japanese nationalism, right?
It's ridiculous. What other stuff's going on here, man? Find some news to get into. Florida's killer clown case. What is that?
A clown came to Marlene Warren's door in 1990, handed her cameras, carnations, and balloons.
Wait, in 1990,
sounds like John Wayne Gacy.
Still going on today?
1990 sounds like John Wayne Gacy type of thing because he was a clown, killer clown.
Florida's killer clown. This the clown.
Is that the killer clown?
I don't know. Is it her? Sheila Keen Warren under arrest. Florida's infamous killer clown case finally ended with the long suspected murderer taking a plea deal. Yeah, this is the killer clown right here. This is a crazy bitch then.
Fort Lauderdale.
A clown came to the door, handed her carnations and balloons, then shot her dead in front of her son. On Tuesday, her husband's second wife finally pleaded guilty to being the killer. What the hell? I've never heard of this one. 12-year sentence, but Keen Warren already served 6 years awaiting trial. Is that real?
Yeah, that's a thing in America, by the way.
You can serve 6 years?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, that's where a lot of this bail reform comes from, because I think it is a little too aggressive in some of these states, like Florida, probably like Arkansas. If I'm charged with a certain type of crime, it can be damn near impossible to get out, before the trial. And then if you're actually fighting the thing as hard as you can and then appeals, it can take many years to wind its way through the legal system.
So who's to say she's not just pleading guilty just to get the hell out of there eventually? Would seem like you'd be able to be in there forever. Let me see the story real quick.
Yeah.
That you saw first right here on WPBF 25. Sheila Keene Warren, the woman accused of dressing as a clown to kill a romantic rival in Wellington in 1990, just pleaded guilty to a
That's my dick, bitch.
charge of second-degree murder. Investigative reporter Terry Parker was there for the hearing. And Terry, you have been reporting on this story for decades.
Tiffany, what a bombshell. No one expected this plea deal to happen. Trial was expected to start in just 2 weeks, but now Sheila Keene Warren has accepted a guilty plea deal to second-degree murder in this 1990 cold case. She was facing life in prison, and at one point the death penalty was on the table. Her lawyer telling me that while the decision was hard because she has always maintained her innocence in this murder, that faced with possible life in prison versus walking out of jail in 10 months, she took the obvious choice, he says. And why it's 10 months is because of the game time and also the...
Yeah, so if your choice is like, okay, go face all this shit, or you've been in here for 6 years, and if you say guilty, we'll let you out in 10 months, shit, it's almost a no-brainer at that point. Like, why would you risk whether you did it or not?
Well, and part of that is when people make fun of all these West Coast states for the bail reform, and even like a New York State also is like, dude, if these states don't have the budget, they can't afford to incarcerate all these people for 6 years while they're waiting for trial. Versus Florida doesn't give a fuck. It's like they'll just pay whatever.
Dead Games heard of it. I never heard of this one, man. You ever heard of these things? I just saw this too recently. Have you ever heard of these vampire straws?
No.
It's a weird. So it's like it's a weapon that you can use as a straw, but people carry it around.
Oh,
But
real
you can,
quick
like-
though, sorry, my apologies. Razvan says women can't take death penalty in 2023. How dare you? Oh, Florida, as well as Texas, and sometimes Oklahoma, they still execute women, believe it or not. It is a thing. But go ahead, sir.
Earl Pipe says this happens at the gathering of the Juggalos all the time. I would
whoop.
love to go to the gathering of the Juggalos.
I'm like half Juggalo. Yeah,
I think it
I
would
don't think
be-
I would like to go though.
Oh,
personally.
bro, we should. That's where we should do the meetup. Do it at the gathering, and then we live stream from
Oh,
there and get all
fuck.
these crazy fucking Juggalos to come on and say some crazy shit.
Yeah, but if they, well, anyway,
Well, they do walk around like naked and stuff. They'll walk around with their balls out and everything like that.
well, they've also been known to attack people who they think are not quite down with the clown.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah,
The one
I'm not
was
too worried, but
Tequila, they were ready to like kill her, I guess.
yep.
Okay, this vampire straw, some dude tried to bring one on a plane or something. So it's like a titanium sharp. It's like a weapon.
Oh yeah, a lot of these water bottles come with these things now, or you can buy them like for your water bottle or whatever.
Yeah, so they're not allowed on the plane. So make sure you don't try to bring this on your plane, man. Razor sharp weapon.
Yep.
Crazy. Now you used to back in the day, these young kids might not know. You could just bring a gun on a plane.
Well, you still
Wouldn't even
can
pat you
actually.
down.
You can,
What's
but
that?
it has to be locked up in a particular way.
Well, I think even before, like in the 70s, couldn't you just walk on a plane?
I
And
doubt
bring
it.
the
There
hat
was
to
a
be down.
ton of hijackings in the 70s, so I doubt it. You could smoke on the plane back then, though.
I listened to that Jim Cornette. He reminds me of you, the old wrestling guy. And man,
Yeah.
he's funny as hell. But he's got a bunch of crazy stories about like when they used to fly around and shit. Just all the crazy shit you could do before 9/11.
Yes.
That guy's nuts, dude. Cornette, he talks about some of these like the house shows for wrestling in like the late 70s or early 80s. these are the house shows, not even on TV. They'd go town to town. He'd talk about the gate. He'd be like, this show here wasn't that big. It was only like 105. So the $105,000 gate was nothing back then. Like you'd have to
I'm
get up
sure,
and
dude.
yeah, and then he'd be like, "Oh, this one was a dud. It was 67,000." I'm like, that sounds like a lot of money, especially back then to me.
Oh, dude, triple it. Yeah, triple it in today's money.
Yeah, and he's like I
Yep.
think he says something like you had to make like 150 or something or more for it to be a good one.
Oh, dude, wrestling was huge, man. I grew up on that Mid-South wrestling. Even before WWE, F was a
Yeah.
thing, really. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's badass. I remember
Yeah,
that
and just
every
shocks by the
Saturday morning,
numbers
man.
when he
Every
throws those
Saturday
numbers
morning.
around. Like
Yeah, it
back
was
then, that's
huge.
80s money. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker, are we over Tucker yet? What's Tucker's plan? They act like Tucker's just like dead in the water. The guy's the biggest name in media. He could easily just start his own. He could just start a YouTube channel.
Well, and he came from CNN, lest we forget. So, you know, I kind of don't like Tucker. I just don't like Tucker, honestly, but I don't like most of them.
Some woman came out and said he was like made her feel uncomfortable or something. Did you see that one yesterday? I'm surprised it's not up here
No.
on the top. It was something about like not quite sexual harassment or something like that, though. That was
When
just
well, you know, Tucker grew up in Southern California, also, by the way, lest we forget. Not known for producing a bunch of conservatives.
So someone did do. I saw this too yesterday. This lady, is this the lady? Kathy
Yikes.
Funk, a local official in Michigan, is accused of breaking a seal on a ballot box in her own election to ensure that votes couldn't be recounted. And all she got is 6 months house arrest. So she tampered with the election, proven. And
Did she
then
plead guilty?
all you get is house arrest. Let's see. She's got to wear a.
She pleaded no contest to misconduct in office.
She gets to wear an electric monitor. What is that, ankle bracelet?
Yep.
She's got to write a public apology. So all you got to do, you can tamper with the election as long as you write a public apology.
Well, in Michigan, apparently.
In Michigan, at least, yeah.
But then in New Hampshire, one could potentially lose their right to vote, apparently, for similar conduct. Similar conduct. Actually, less egregious conduct, arguably.
So DeSantis is getting crushed by Trump, it says here in the polls. We got to catch up on all this current event stuff, man. I'm behind the times.
Did you see Burn Eye was trying to get in here?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. If you scroll up in the chat, he's somewhere in there. Eventually, I'm going to need the ability to highlight comments.
How do I do
it
that
out.
for you?
Well, we can talk about it later.
We can talk about now.
Okay. I think you'd have to add me as a member to your stream.
How do I do
you
that?
you probably have Layla as your other, because you only get 2 seats if you're at the $25 level.
Yeah, I think I put her as the main on the main channel or something.
How many stream you got, partner?
How do you do it?
It's at your main, like your StreamYard. It's under members. So I guess if
we'll
you
have to
clicked
do it
on
later because I don't even
yeah,
see
exactly.
I don't even see it right now. Oh,
What I'm
like when
trying
I'm
to
on the
say.
StreamYard main page.
Yeah. The
Okay.
the broadcast page or whatever, members. Yeah. But he was wanting to join the streams or whatever.
To me, as America's governor,
it seems that Governor DeSantis can sneeze and make headlines.
We combed through hours of footage from his.
He used to work at Guantanamo Bay.
Sounds about right.
DeSantis.
Yeah, Crypto Alchemist is Burn Eye. He said, send me the link to join and I will explain it to you. I don't mind, man. If you want to get him in here, I need to probably visit the restroom and I could maybe eat real quick.
What time is it?
I don't know how late you're trying to go. That's another thing. If we're doing another hour, I need a break. If we're wrapping up soon.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna throw that link in the chat, man. We got 94 people in the house. Good morning.
Holla.
That's the link if you guys want to. I kind of prefer to bring one person in at a time, but I guess I'm really.
It's up to you, brother. I can roll with whatever.
I don't really care, I guess.
Yeah.
I roll with the flow. There's people out down here that around where I live, they all have Trump DeSantis flags and signs.
Oh, he's very
that's
popular.
That's not even a ticket.
No.
So they just make these.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know.
I think that will be the eventual ticket, I guess, but my predictions are pretty bad. But
Well, I know Burn Eye. Yeah, I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna go take a break. I'll be back shortly.
All right, what's up, Bernie?
Good to see you, Burn Eye.
Now, I have it on good authority. I heard in these YouTube screeds that Burn Eye starting in OnlyFans.
Yes, totally. Definitely.
Is that true?
No, definitely
Cecil
not.
is. Big Dick Cecil Drake is going to start an OnlyFans.
Okay. So when you say it, you've got to say the Reverend Benton Truther. It's like the Reverend Jesse Jackson. It's the Reverend Benton Truther, right? Just wanted to get that.
Sorry, I had to change my name. My bad.
Okay. I'll try. My voice is a little hoarse, man. I'm a little under the weather. I'll wait till he comes back. Let me get some water, and I'll wait till he comes back.
Oh, I signed in with the wrong account. That's why. That's
fucked up, Bernie.
Figured it out. How's it going, everybody?
Okay, we're all on the same
Yeah,
page.
I might
here.
actually do an AI art OnlyFans. That could, potentially be profitable to the heathens that would want to pay to watch whatever the heck it comes up with.
Is that one of those things where you touch it and the static like goes to your hand? Sick.
Oh, you guys want a little bit of a light show? Ooh.
Whoa.
That's dope, dude.
Whoa, bro.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Now, Bernard, while you're here, man, let me ask you. I don't know what you called in to talk about, but can you give us the real quick rundown on the Paul Cook situation? YouTuber Paul Cook. What was there was like a beef and a drama there, and
Currently
got a
has
TLDR.
taken down a few of my videos and given me 3 strikes against me, or 2.5 pending strikes or something like that. And yeah, so it was like my videos, like my interview with Dutch Sense, it was like 5.5 hours. I'm just going through editing it right now. There was 5 minutes that he appeared in it. He edited it out, loaded it up on his channel, and then used it as a strike against me to have my most viewed epic interview of all times removed from my channel, and my first strike against me. And then the second one was the Michelle Gibson episode that we streamed together that I had set up. Been doing a series with Michelle, invited Paul to do an episode with Paul. He did what he did there, and because of that, and then he told a whole bunch of people. Then he tried to delete it, but also striked me with it to get rid of the evidence or whatever the hell. And then I made a clip out of it, and then he striked that as well now. And my original plan was just to leave them up for 24 hours, but they've been up for 48 hours now because I literally can't get into remove them on, I can't open YouTube.
Let me ask, what do you
Studio.
believe? What do you believe his motivation was for that? To strike you? Were you talking shit or what? Or does he think you were talking shit?
No, he got a blowjob halfway through the internet, or halfway through the interview of the interview, the episode we did together, and then he told a whole bunch of people, and then
so he was getting domed out when he was on your channel on the interview.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, no, well, he started the OnlyFans, and if he's trying to use me as some sort of sick promotion for it, I was like, no.
It's his head is just right there. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
It's just,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. AI art made Simpson. Look at Homer Simpson. Looks just like Cecil.
He looks like Bruce Willis in a few years.
Like Cecil.
Oh, it does look like Cecil. My God, that is Cecil.
Fuck that.
You don't want to be Homer Simpson, bro?
Nah, even though he was like a role model of mine as I was growing up and stuff like that, I'm all good. Drew, real quick, are you getting any feedback from me?
I'm not. Let's ask the chat. It sounds normal to me.
I got you guys ported through my car speakers right now. So there's no reverb or any of that shit.
I'm not hearing nothing like that. Well, that's the chat. You got your reverb.
AI
Moody Bug
is
is talking
something else,
about
though.
some
Like,
dude named Paul
do an
Cope.
episode on AI right away about just like the 3 episodes we've done generating AI pictures, and then now going like the alternative like truther research community. There's so many fakes of different AI images, and then also though there's like legitimate uses like as content creators, like coming up with like cover thumbs and stuff like that, and like video game stories, whatever, or just the imagination. But that I believe, well, I myself am gonna start putting like an AI like image stamp on each one that like could be used as like a fake, because like for instance, shout out to Edgar Reese. He did his YouTube channel. He did a whole bunch of like these AI like
The MGTOW Maniac you're talking
pyramid
about.
ones and
The
stuff,
MGTOW
like these
Maniac,
crazy
Edgar
stuff,
Reyes.
and like on the ice wall, and like they were fake, and everybody thought they were real. And to this day, there's like these fucking 5 million follower Instagram channels like still published in them, like, look at this real shit. It's like the guy came on the channel, Shem Tartarian Truth, shout out Shem, tracked him down and like had him on, and like Edgar was like honest, and he was like, yeah, it was just a social experiment, they're fake, and like it's just artwork, and like claim that they're fake. But like this is 6 months later, and they're still trending, claiming like just discovered pyramids in Antarctica.
Yeah, fake and gay. What did you call in to talk? There was I don't even remember now. There was a reason you called in. Yeah, Paul Cook we're talking about. He started an OnlyFans and he's got a beef now with Bernie. Paul Cook.
I don't know. It's tough. Okay. Point being, it's like I would just I want to remove the, like, I only want to make videos up for like 24 hours, but I can't get into my YouTube studio without accepting the strikes that he's put against me. And as soon as I accept the strikes, then it gets YouTube involved, at which point then he risks getting his channels terminated for having this
He does or you do?
material on it. And I keep telling him, like, yo, bro, it's not in your best interest to have these strikes. You should probably remove them. You're going to get yourself fucked. Like, I don't want to do this.
You're too kind, bro. Just say fuck him. Just take him down. If he's fucking with you, then fuck him.
Right? Like, I guess that's just the way it's got to be.
Where are you driving to, Cecil?
Work.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, I've been sick with the flu for the last couple of days. And actually, I was supposed to be off today, but I have to work. I can't just take a bunch of days off and shit. My boss is on contract, which means he doesn't get paid hourly. He just gets paid like X amount of money to get X amount of shit done. I don't know how familiar you are with like restaurant industry shit, but like he told me, he's like, when I was talking to him last night, he's like, he's all got his kids in his arms and shit. He's like, amigo, this is like my one day off tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, man, I can't even fucking see because I'm hacking up phlegm so hard, dude. It's like,
you're gonna go handle people's food?
Oh, I'm not contagious anymore. Like I know, trust me, dude. And flu is like I have the common man's understanding of flu is like you don't seem to. Yeah, I could talk on that for a while, but the whole point is like I'm not contagious. I've already had this shit like 5 or 6 days. Yeah, I'm all good, but I have to get back to work. I don't have any choice at this point. So,
Same.
I'm currently driving through one of these country towns where the speed limit's freaking 25 miles an hour.
Well, Benton's back. He made it back.
Yeah, part
The
of me.
Reverend.
What's up? What's up, Cecil? Good to see you, brother.
I'm good, man.
I can't do the Reverend yet. My voice isn't
Part of me never getting speeding tickets driving a big rig is I do not speed through any little towns ever.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So when you said 25, I said, okay, I bet he's going 25.
All right. So do you wanna see what it's about, I guess?
What? Oh, well, you gave us the TLDR. There was a reason you came on. Do you remember what that reason was? Because I don't.
Oh, all right.
What was the reason that Bernie came on, Benton? He was going to explain something to us.
I'm not sure. I think he just wanted to get in here.
I thought you said he was going to explain something to us.
Dude, that's
Something we
what
were talking
I read
about.
in the chat. Maybe I was hallucinating. I'm not exactly sure.
I can explain how to make your own resonating crystals, grow your own crystals that become speakers, and that will also become your own crystal battery that can power your own flashlight.
Bernie, how many psychedelics have you consumed today?
0.
Awesome. I love it.
I don't know.
No, just was up all night because I had a interview to do, but then it got rescheduled. So
It's Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde death metal. I need to make a chalk body outline death metal logo.
you definitely do.
So, Benton, do you know what I'm referencing when I go, the Reverend Benton Truther? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Like MLK?
Well, I was actually Jesse Jackson used to announce himself like that.
The Reverend Jesse
You know?
Jackson.
Yeah. So just like how Drew does like his abyss shit based off of Arby's, you should come out with your own brand that's like televangelist truther, but you could be like the Reverend of the truth community with your Southern accent and all that. You know, I don't know, just my idea.
Well, I'm so memeable. I'm so frequently memed. I'll just let the audience do that. In fact, you did that actually. You memed me as the Reverend.
I was just listening to your Southern accent one day and the way you were up there on the mic preaching.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, I bet you this guy's involved with a church. Woo!
Yeah,
I love to drive up.
We haven't hit 100 yet, man.
I saw 99. Yeah, 99. Did Burn Eye leave? What happened? You kicked him, didn't you?
I didn't kick him. No.
Oh,
He
okay.
just
I guess he left.
Seemed like he was kind of out of it. He was tired.
He was a little out of it. Yeah, fish tank. I wanted to get into some of the fish tank stuff, possibly. But we don't
so
have to.
fish
I'll talk
tank
about
is-
it later. Have
Go
you looked
ahead,
at any of the clips? Have you seen
What else
any
we
of the
gonna talk
clips?
about? Go ahead, talk about it right now.
Have you seen any of the clips?
I haven't. I just know what it is, but I haven't seen any of it.
Well, the website keeps going down, unfortunately. It was back up yesterday evening, and I think it's back down again. So is the system's not going to allow Sam Hyde to pay? Oh, it's back up now. Okay, fantastic. I can share the screen possibly.
This is AI Homer Simpson, Ben.
Looks like Cecil. Yeah.
Whatever. There's no escape.
Indeed, sir.
Anyway,
I'm getting up out of the hole.
What state are you in?
Hallelujah, the sun.
What state? What state are you on, Cecil?
What state am I on or state am I in?
Exactly.
I'm in a state of consciousness, but the location is Central Oregon.
Oh, that's right. I've asked you that before. My apologies.
your camera's going nuts.
Out here, this part. we'd be going yee-haw.
I've been
Go
through
right
there,
over
sir.
there in Portland.
Yeah, I hitchhiked from Bend to the 5 one time, east out of Bend. So I've been through there, brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that through the Cascades?
Well, if you that was through the high desert.
Because between
I believe I hit the
Okay.
5 in
Well,
Ontario.
between-
You're gonna make me look at a map.
Can you hold it down for a second, Ben? The kids are
between the coast of Oregon and where
Well, I've been all up and down the coast.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
not
between the
5.
coast of
Sorry.
Oregon.
Sorry, the 84 in Ontario. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah. So through Burns.
Okay.
Down through Burns. Yeah.
I'm on Shock Body Outline. Nobody's passing me. I don't give a fuck.
Get them.
Woo! Between the coast of Oregon and where I'm at are the Cascades, the mountains,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
You go up through there, man, it is fucking beautiful. Talking like mountainous waterfalls and lakes and all. It's very scenic.
Well, the Oregon coast is my favorite from a natural beauty standpoint, and I've been pretty much everywhere in the country.
Yes, the Oregon coast. If you want to not pay attention to all these drug addicts.
Cecil, your connection stinks, man. Out there in the middle of nowhere.
It's because I'm doing 80.
Nice.
Okay, now I'll alleviate that here in a second. Just have to get past some of these people that are driving trucks like it's their grandma and shit. Come on now, come on. Let me in there, fuckers. All right, we're good.
What do you think about this one here? It says Klaus Schwab hires millions of information warriors to seize control of the internet. World Economic Forum says it's going to police misinformation and conspiracy content, which will then be systemically shut down. The infodemic is potentially deadly and requires a cure, according to Klaus Schwab. WEF will have hundreds of thousands of information warriors engaged in the act of shutting down dissent against the globalist elite.
Well, and again, another person who's not a native English speaker telling us how to live. I always notice when it's these people who don't really speak English that well or have a strong accent.
Okay.
German is actually really close to English, but
you want to fire your stream up, Ben? These kids are melting down out here. I think I got to shut it down. They're going nuts.
Yeah, hang on. Give me a second. I'll go live.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to keep going, but these kids are...
I get it, man.
Sounds like World War III out here. I don't know if it's coming through the mic or not. It's loud.
They're testing you. You got to go. You're going to have to go lay the smack down.
Little shits. Tinfoil says there's footage of his old black metal band on YouTube.
Nice. Maybe we'll check that out. I'm live, so anytime.
Okay, Benton's live. Thanks to everyone that was here, man. Shout out to Bernie. Shout out to Cecil Drake.
Good to see you, brother.
I'm going to shut it down here, and when I do, everyone will get dumped over into Benton's stream, hopefully.
Dumped into Doomville.
If not, go subscribe to Benton. It's at Benton, JA6. What is it, Ben?
668.
668.
Yeah, I almost changed it today, but I'm going to leave it there for now.
Okay. And appreciate everyone that was here. Peace out.